Johnson County District Attorney Phil Kline, one of the most controversial figures in the history of the county. Here's Chief Investigative Reporter Usher Qureshi.
Karen and Brad, this was an investigation that top Johnson County officials tried to thwart, fighting to keep public information out of our hands so you couldn't see it. It didn't work. Sir, we've been asking questions for months now. You're not going to answer any of our questions? Words like controversy and secrecy have followed Phil Kline throughout his political and prosecuting career. Now, a KCTV5 news investigation reveals information about Kline never before seen, shedding light on what's been rumored and whispered about for months. Our investigation starts January 12, 2007. That's when former State Attorney General Phil Kline became Johnson County's district attorney after losing his re-election bid for a second term as AG. Kline entered the office like a storm, sweeping aside decades of experience when he fired 7 prosecutors and the chief investigator.
The day that he fired the 8 people, the 7 attorneys, was the most chaotic day I'd ever seen in that office.
The 8 former employees sued Kline, alleging their dismissals were politically motivated. For the first time in more than 20 years, the DA's office would not follow county personnel policies. Kline says he could fire anyone at any time for any reason without repercussions.
There was absolutely no protection, and that is why people will not speak up.
Because they can be fired at any time.
Correct.
But this fear didn't stop some people from talking to us. Over the next few months, persistent rumors and accusations made their way from inside the courthouse to KCTV5. One of the accusations we heard time and time again was that Kline was not at work.
There were days that I did not see Phil Kline in the office. I don't know if you could use the word secret, but I can tell you that we were not apprised of where he would be.
There's no secret where Phil Kline parks his car when he goes to work. It's here on the east side of the Johnson County Courthouse, a secured parking area protected by a fortress of court buildings where Kline and a select few judges park. It requires a key card to get in and out. Each time Kline swipes in or out, it's recorded on a computer. Using the Kansas Open Records Act, we asked for those records starting with the day Kline took office. We were denied. The county claimed this disclosure would jeopardize the security of the building and the security of the public agencies and divisions that operate in the building. So we sued. Months after our original request, a judge decided there was no security risk and ordered the county to hand over the records. Hundreds of lines of code showing when Kline used his card to get in and out of the secured parking. But the 8 months of data turned over to KCTV5 was littered with missing information, gaps and holes that showed Kline clocking into the garage but never out, and the other way around. 6 weeks of keycard information from May to mid-June was simply missing. The county's explanation? The system routinely purges the information. We crunched the numbers we had and asked other DAs just what it takes to get the job done.
The district attorney offices within this state are very busy offices.
Robert Hecht is the Republican district attorney in Shawnee County. He started prosecuting criminals more than 40 years ago and took the top job in Shawnee County in 2001.
This is a job that requires a lot of hands-on attention.
Hecht says that means attention to detail and time in the office.
I would say probably 90% of my time is actually spent in the office. I can't do it on less than roughly 50, 60 hours a week.
So how does that compare to Kline's time in the office? Our investigation discovered that there wasn't a typical Kline day, except for one thing. On many days, his car wasn't in the secured lot very long. Thursday, February 8th, Kline spends 1 hour and 46 minutes in the lot. Thursday, March 1st, 3 hours and 27 minutes. Tuesday, April 24th, 2 hours 52 minutes. And Thursday, August 2nd, 2 hours 42 minutes. In fact, we found 24 weekdays where Kline never clocked in or out at all. And taking the weeks where the information wasn't missing or purged, our investigation uncovered this. Kline spent an average of 29 hours a week in the office while making $143,000 a year. Do you think that a district attorney in your position would be able to handle your responsibilities putting in 29 hours a week in the office?
Well, only if they were superhuman.
We asked the district attorney's office just where Kline was spending his time when he wasn't in the office. We were told the information doesn't exist.
Thank you.
We repeatedly requested an interview with Kline and even provided our keycard information to the district attorney's office. A spokesperson for Kline responded in an email. Can you tell me why he should take time out of his day to talk with you about when a garage door opens and closes?
Let me tell you something.
While there's no legal requirement for the district attorney to work any set schedule or hours, Kansas law does require district attorneys to live in the county where they work.
It's mandatory.
It was not the consensus that he lived in Johnson County.
Kline and his wife Deborah both changed their voter registration to Johnson County, and they have 2 cars registered to a Johnson County address. This is it. 19840 Floyd, apartment 4 in Stillwell. It's a youth storage facility south of Overland Park. The law requires this to be Kline's residence, and if it's not, he must resign or be subject to removal from office.
I would say people snickered at the thought that he lived in Johnson County.
Can you tell me if your family's actually living in Stillwell? Are you living in Stillwell?
My family, I have a home in Topeka.
True, Kline owns this home in Topeka where we frequently found his wife's car, which was also registered to the Stillwell address. But remember, the law requires he live in Johnson County. So just how often is Kline spending time at the youth stored address he lists? We spent weeks waiting and watching for him to show up here, more than a dozen times early in the morning.
6:50.
And late at night.
9:30 p.m.
Not once, day or night, did we see Kline at this address. We did, however, catch Kline leaving the office on a recent evening. He and his wife made their way to K-10 Highway, through Eudora, and finally onto Topeka, where they picked up their daughter from school, and eventually made their way home to their house in Topeka. The next morning, we watched as the 2 of them left their Topeka house and drove to the turnpike. Then, later on, Deborah Kline returned to their home to pick up their daughter and take her to school in Topeka. Remember, Mrs. Kline also claims to live in Stillwell.
How many times do you think you've seen Phil Kline here in the last month?
Good Lord, I don't know. I don't
If
see him
he's
every time
here-
he comes.
Pat and Ernest Adair own this youth store in Stillwell and say Phil Kline pays $400 a month to rent an upstairs apartment from them.
Right?
So you're a Phil supporter?
Well, sure.
Oh my gosh, why not? He's one of the greatest heroes we know.
Look, is it right here? This one right here at the top of the stairs?
This is one of several apartments the Adairs say they have on site.
And he spends a lot of time here, you'd say?
He works. The guy works. He stays here at night.
Does he sleep here?
Yes, he sleeps here. Yes,
He does?
Absolutely sleeps here.
How many nights have you spent in the apartment in Stillwell in the last month, would you say?
I'll see you guys later.
Now, as we told you, we gave Kline and his spokesperson numerous chances for an interview to directly address our investigation. They did not. However, in an email, Kline's spokesperson did say the office's jury conviction rate is up 5%, Kline's caseload matches that of his predecessor, and that the office is slightly under budget.
A lot
Usher, thanks.
of unanswered questions.
Yep.
All right, Usher, thank you.
And you'll get those and let us know.